Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Vanessa and you are watching the Exploring Oracle, or the Exploracle for short. So it is the middle of June and at work we're actually doing our mid-year reviews right now. And I thought I'd do something similar by going over my 2025 tarot goals and just talking about whether I've progressed in any of them at all. So it's been a busy first 6 months of the year, and yeah, but let's just go into it and let's see where let's see how I've done. So the first goal that I had was to create a tarot study journal. So let me just zoom that a little bit in. So it's to create a tarot study journal, and what I was planning to do is to use 10 decks and have a reference of around 3 books to use to create my tarot study journal. And I have not started this, but that will change today. So in this video, we'll go over the goals, but at the same time, I'll be showing the 3 books that I chose for my tarot study journal project. And in the next video, so hopefully that'll be coming out next week, I'll be showing you the 10 decks that I chose to use for my tarot study journal. And then I also wanted to do to associate keywords with each tarot card. So that goes hand in hand with the tarot study journal that I'm planning. And at the same time, it's inspired by Lisa Papez and her book, Unlocking the Tarot. So I do have the audible version of this book. So that's also something that I plan to do. Hopefully that's something that would go hand in hand with my study journal, because then I'll be choosing my own personal associations, and hopefully that would also strengthen my connection to particular cards in the deck, or to tarot in general. And then the third one is to keep a tarot journal. Now, I haven't been consistent about this. I was definitely a lot more consistent last year. Last year, I felt like I kind of crushed my tarot goals, but this year it's been really sluggish. And I'm hoping to change that starting this June. So, like relaunching myself and starting again with my tarot practice. And definitely for the fourth one, I am meeting this goal. I am spending less on decks because I barely bought any new deck this year. I'm just expecting a Kickstarter or 2 so far, but those were back from last year. I did trade for a few decks, and I think I just bought 1 deck since the start of the year. So I think pretty much I'm doing well on this goal, but I am not able to use decks as much as I want to. So it's really a mixed bag, and definitely for 2025, my progress has not been great, but hopefully that will change starting today. So I did mention that I wanted to show you the 3 books that I chose to be part of this tarot study project of mine. And the first one, but to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm going to show you 6 books, and then I'll talk about the runner-ups first, and then tell you about the book that I actually chose. So for the first book, this is a runner-up. This is the Tarot Bible by Sarah Bartlett, and it says it is the definitive guide to the cards and spreads. So this is a chunky book, but it is a little bit shorter than your normal book. I will show you the table of contents. So it has tarot basics, the tarot directory, so basically your meanings, your correspondences, and it has so many spreads. Like it even has themes for different kinds of spreads. You have your everyday spreads, you have your relationship spreads, you have revelation spreads. So this entire chunk of the book is all about spreads. Then you have your meanings here, drawing a daily card. So this was something that I thought would be quite good to learn from. Although I did buy this particularly for the spreads because I saw that it had so many spreads. But for a study journal, it seems to have a lot of basic information. It has a lot of things that I could learn from. It even talks about different tarot decks here, how to choose a deck. getting to know the cards. So it does contain a lot of information. How to develop your interpretation skills. So I'm just briefly showing you what's inside the book in case you're also interested. Drawing a daily card, how to read for yourself, reading for others. So there's a lot to learn. That's the information, the introductory information before you even go into the meanings of the cards. The major arcana, you have here the Fool, the keywords, the key phrases, and the interpretation. And that's for the majors. For the minors, you have pretty much the same type of information about the suit, and then the keywords, key phrases, and interpretation. Now, this is all well and good, and I think that it's going to be a good reference for me as well. And I did buy this because I wanted it to be a reference. But for my study journal, I kind of wanted something a little bit more simple. So I will be using this instead. This is the Tarot Directory by Isabella Drayson. It says, Unlock the meaning of the cards, spreads, and the mystery of the tarot. It is a hardbound book as compared to the Tarot Bible. And let me just show you the table of contents. So the table of contents, you again have the basics, then the major arcana, the minor arcana, and then how to interpret spreads. Now, what I like about this, now it's I wouldn't say it has less information, but I do think that it's a bit more concise. So you still get your history of the tarot, how to choose your deck, the deck structure, how to understand symbols, but it just, I don't know, even the way it's laid out, it feels more easily understandable to me. And that is just my first impression of it, because obviously I haven't really gone through the entire book. I think I'm only up to this part. Oh, I use extra cards that I get from creators as bookmarks. And then this is how you get to know your major arcana, how to work with each card. You have here the astrological affinities and numbers. And then for each card, you have the meaning, the exam, and this part is the one that I like. It's the sample interpretations. And of course, you also have your keywords here. And you also have like an activity. Now, I feel that as a study journal, this is more effective because it's not really just all about the meanings or all theoretical and stuff like that. So I chose this Tarot Directory book over the Tarot Bible because it just seems a little easier in terms of structure, as a study or as a reference. And you also have here in this part, you have your exercises here. Okay. And then for the spreads, the introduction to spreads, understanding what the spread symbolize, the positions, how to lay out the cards, how to interpret the cards. So I think there's a lot to learn. And as a foundation, I am choosing this basically as my main foundation for my study journal. Granted, these are not the first tarot books that I've read or I've used. I have read a few when I was starting, but just for the purpose of my study journal, this is the first book that I will be using. Okay, so that is the first set. The second set, basically. So this is my runner-up. This is the tarot for light seers. And the reason for I wanted or I was thinking of choosing this is because I've always loved the art on the light seers tarot, maybe except for one or two cards that I didn't enjoy much or I don't understand. But this deck actually doesn't resonate with me as much. But when this book came out, I was really interested because it was a chance for me to see the art again and to get more insight on the symbols that were used, why that particular why the card was depicted that way. So I like that, and there are also spreads here. And yeah, so for each card, you have the light seer, shadow seer, the story of the card, the message, and yeah, it shows you the art that is on the card, which is something that I miss and enjoy because I have rehomed my full size light seer tarot deck. So I felt that this would be, an additional reference to dive deep into the symbolism of the cards or into the meanings of the cards. However, since it is specifically for the tarot, for the light seers tarot, I felt that um, it might be skewed, or it might really be focused. The meanings might really be leaning into this particular deck, and given that I didn't really resonate with that deck to begin with, it might be a deterrence to really learning, or to really build my tarot study journal if I use something this specific like the tarot for the light seers. So what I chose instead of the tarot light seers for something a little bit more in depth is the Your Tarot Court by Ethany Dawn. So I have to go into my Kindle app here just to show you, because I do have the Kindle version of this book. So what's here in the book, you have here the beginning, the content, introduction, structure of the tarot, about the tarot court, if it's dated, the titles, gender and physical identifiers, elemental associations, the astrological, zodiac, and court cards, predicting timing with the tarot court, hierarchy, roles, and progression, the archetypes, the love connections, pop culture representations, and of course, spreads and cheat sheets. Now, the reason why I chose this is because I've always had a difficult time with the courts. It's always been a challenge for me to read that. And I felt that if I had, my basics, I had my tarot directory, then I needed something that would really hone in on the courts, because that's something that I struggle with. And instead of going deep diving, let's say, into a particular deck, then maybe I would be deep diving into the tarot courts. And I'm glad that I have Ethany's book, because I do feel that I will be learning a lot from her if I read and really studied her book. So, oops. So that is it for book number 2. And the last book that I wanted to or my last runner up the last runner up is the Tarot Elements book by Melissa Sinova. So I did read her book, Kitchen Table Tarot. So that's one of my beginner books that I read and enjoyed. And I thought that, I would also learn a lot from tarot elements. And it's more, again, it goes beyond the basics. And this time it talks about, let me just go into the table of contents. It talks about reading, elemental readings, basically. And you do have here chapters for each element. And it talks about readings that you can use for these particular elements. And that is something that's quite interesting. However, instead of elemental readings, I decided to go with this book, Lessons from the Empress, which is a tarot workbook for self care and creative growth. And the reason for that is, if I think that I would learn more from this particular book, well, no, I would learn from both, but I feel that this is more applicable to me personally, because I do read tarot for myself. I don't really read for others. And self-care is a huge part of why I read, or why I do tarot, why I try to, um, why I study it, because it helps me get to know myself better and understand how I feel, process those feelings, and essentially it feels more aligned to what I want to study or what I want to get from tarot if it is about self-care. So this book talks about your inner empress, the basics of tarot for self-care, tarot and ritual, elemental magic, which also has an elemental element, and some spreads to kickstart the journey. And then, of course, you have the meanings, the Empress's journey instead of the Fool's journey, and then the minors. And for each section, just wanted to show you. So here you have your spreads, just for the meanings, just because this is going to be a study journal, right? So you have here the archetypes and the spirit and spiritual self-care, major arcana, the Empress's journey. So it has meanings. It also has some activities that you can do. So here it goes per suit and per element basically. So for wands, it's from spark to finish. You have here the meaning for each of the cards, and you have some activities. So I felt that as a study companion, this book might be better suited to what I want to achieve as part of my tarot study journal than the elemental tarot of the tarot elements by Melissa Sinova. Even though it she is one of the authors that I did enjoy learning from, or at least when I was really starting to read tarot. So maybe I've confused you with all my ramblings. But basically, for my tarot study journal, I have these 3 books that I will be using. So I have the tarot directory. So this is like my basics. And then my diving a bit deeper is the Your Tarot Court by Ethany Dawn. And my workbook slash practice, or like tarot in practice, would be Lessons from the Empress, a tarot workbook for self-care and creative growth. So that's it for this video. I hope you find this video interesting. Maybe you want to pick up one of these books as well. I hope that I would be able to get started with my plan to use these as references for my tarot study journal. But I am feeling quite hopeful and quite excited about this. And yeah, so that's why I did this video, because it's kind of like my accountability again. Whenever you say something out loud, it's like it's also holding myself accountable when I tell you that I will be using these as reference and I'll be creating a study journal. Then it's something that I do want to do, and it's always nice to have that progress checked once in a while, right? So it may be late because it's already the second half of the year. Well, almost second half of the year, but yeah, I'm just glad that I did this recalibration. And I'm really excited to start my tarot learning journey again. Anyway, if you like this video, don't forget to click on the like button and do consider subscribing to my channel. See you again next time. Bye!